Hi, my name is Troy Dunn, and I'm the President and Chief Creative Officer of an agency in Ybor City called Dunn & Company. Today I'm going to be telling you about the recipient of the Silver Medal Award for 2021. So last year in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I was privileged and honored to receive the Silver Medal. Now, what is the Silver Medal? It is a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I have to tell you, it's one of the highest highlights of my entire life, because to know that you give your blood, sweat, and tears to an industry and then they reciprocate by saying, listen, you're pretty awesome and we love what you've been doing in our industry, we want to reward you. I was totally blown away, as I'm sure the recipient for this year will be as well. How do you get the silver medal? Well, there's three categories. It's how do you participate with your company, how do you participate creatively, and how do you give back to the community? And this year's recipient hits all of those marks with flying colors, and I'm going to talk about those in a second. So, first of all, because it's a little bit different than we normally do this, we're not on stage, I'm not going to be putting this silver medal actually on his neck. I'm going to tell you right now that this year's recipient is Tom Kenny of PPK. And I couldn't be more proud to be able to give this to Tom myself, because we have a unique history together. There may not be anybody in Tampa Bay who's a better person to give this to Tom, because I opened my agency 1 year before Tom did. And for the last 18 years, Tom and I have been looking over each other's shoulders at each other, because we both stand for and believe in the same things. Awesome creativity that moves people to act and moves them to be emotional, and that they want to share the work that we do, and they admire the work that we do, and they envy the work that we do. And Tom and I have been like neck and neck through all these years, and it's only recently that he and I have become very, very good friends. And I think we both realize, wow, all those years, man, we could have really been buddying up, but better late than never. And I'm so happy to be able to give this to Tom, and here's why. When it comes to what you've done for your company, PPK, when they opened in 2004, they came right out of the gate as one of the best agencies in Tampa Bay. It wasn't like they took 5 years, 8 years, 12 years to kind of ramp up. Man, I opened up in 2003. The very next year, I hear that this agency downtown St. Pete called Piper, Paul & Kenny opened up. And I'm like, well, who are they? And then they're the new hot shop. They're winning all these awards and they're getting all these clients. And I'm like, what? Who are these guys? They were freaking awesome. And my memory back in those days, what they picked up, Sweet Bay Supermarkets, they were working on Circle K, and they were working on the Tampa Bay Rays. And these three clients were all marquee clients. They're big clients, and if you're in Tampa Bay, they're big names. I was so jealous and envious. And then I went to the first Addies where they produced work. The work blew me away. Like, what I realized was this wasn't just a bunch of fluff. This was actual killer work that was national caliber work. And I recognized it immediately. And every single year, what Tom was doing at PPK was setting the bar for what I needed to jump over. And I was so envious of their work. So what you did creatively was amazing. As far as the company, what you've done for your company, when an agency like ours lands marquee clients, you have to understand how difficult that is, who we're competing with to win those clients. Many of you don't realize, but when you win a client like the Florida Lottery, you're beating like 50 to 60 agencies in the state of Florida that are all going after that. I competed with Tom twice for that. I lost both times. But the first time, there was just so many agencies, and the second time, Tom just put that on his shoulders, and he said, we're going to win this thing. And they did. And that is an amazing account to have. It's huge, but it's also just such a marquee account. And then you have national brands like Pirelli. You have regional brands that they work with like PDQ. They worked with Bright House when they were around. They did some incredible work for Bright House. And I could go on and on with the brands that they've been recognized for over and over and over. And so when you are able to win these types of accounts, it means that you're raising the stature of your agency's brand. And so from 2004 until 2021, PPK, under Tom's leadership and guidance, has been in the top tier of Tampa Bay advertising agencies. Not just Tampa Bay advertising agencies, but Florida advertising agencies. And I might go so far as to say PPK is one of the best agencies in the entire Southeast. You just look at their record, and it's right there. It's undeniable. Let me talk just for a second about giving back to the community. So one of the first times that I was totally blown away at the Addy Awards, put on by the TBAF, was when I saw this Metropolitan Ministry work. And I'm walking through the gallery, and I look at this work, and it was so simple. There was a piece of cardboard laying on the ground, and it said something like, sit on it or sleep on it. It just blew my mind how inventive and how creative it was. It was unlike anything that anybody in Florida was doing. It was ahead of its time for creativity, and it was recognized as such with multiple awards. And PPK and Tom have continued to give back to Metropolitan Ministry over all of these years. The other brand that I wanted to mention, not nobody, but very few people knew what Big Cat Rescue was before Tiger King came out. But Tom knew what it was because he and his good friend and colleague Michael Schillig, they've worked on that for many, many years, and they've won tons and tons of awards. When it comes to brands that you're giving back to, as an agency owner, I'm in a unique capacity to share with you that we have to make difficult decisions when we're going to give back to the community, because we have overhead, we have paid staff, and when we're going to give back and give our staff's time for free, it means we've got to look at the numbers and can we do this profitably? And every single time we do that, it's a sacrifice. And we have to think, is it worth the sacrifice? And every time Tom says it's worth the sacrifice. He says, you know what? I'm going to spend my money helping this organization because they can't help themselves. And on top of that, I demand killer work. Like, this isn't going to be my third, fourth string creatives. This is going to be the top creatives, and I want to give back in the best way that I possibly can. That speaks volumes about Tom Kenny and what he's done for the community, for his own organization, giving back to people here who come to work at PPK. They come here because they want to be a part of the magic that Tom's created, and when they're here, whether they're here for 6 months or 6 years or 60 years, they're going to have an opportunity to work on great stuff. So he's given back to his company. He's a creative genius, and he's won more awards than any agency I can think of. And he's given back to the community. And these are the 3 pillars of the silver medal. So, having said all of that, I consider Tom Kenny to be a giant in the Tampa Bay advertising industry. There are very few people, if any, who can rise to that level that Tom has. And as a result, I am incredibly honored and privileged to be able to name Tom Kenny as the 2021 Tampa Bay Advertising Federation Lifetime Member, Tom Kenny. This is for you, Tom. Can't give it to you right now because of the times we live in, but I'll look forward to putting this around your neck. And with that, let me introduce Tom Kenny.
Thank you, Troy, and thank you to the Tampa Bay Ad Fed for this award and recognition. I am truly humbled and honored. I've been working in the advertising industry for over 25 years, and I've watched the industry transform to what it is today. Back when I started in the 90s, it was all about making TV spots and print ads. But today, it's so different. It's all about online video and dropping pixels on websites and digital content. The industry's transforming and evolving, and it's super interesting. So first, I wanted to let you know that I wouldn't even be standing here today delivering this message to you unless someone took a chance on me. In our industry, it's all about taking risks. And there's a gentleman, Phil Davis, who was my first boss. He took a chance on me and hired me in the early 90s as a junior art director. I really didn't know what I was doing, but he launched my career. He believed in me and took a chance on me. The second thing I wanted to say and share with you is to all the people who I have met along the way and collaborated with and shared ideas, from former PPK employees to current PPK team members, all of our wonderful clients that we've helped, and all of our valued vendor partners who help us do what we do each day. You have not only made me a better leader, a better creative, but also a better person. So thank you very much for that. Finally, I'll leave you with 3 thoughts or things that I've learned over this journey in advertising. Number 1, take a chance on someone, mentor someone, because it's extremely rewarding to see where they can go. The second one, you all get this, but we're going to face a lot of obstacles in advertising, and you need to look at those obstacles as opportunities. And then the last one, and maybe the most important, is to believe in yourself and believe in your ideas. So again, thank you very much for this honor. I'm very grateful to everyone that I've met and learned from during this journey. Have a great night tonight and a great 2021.